sometimes when we don't expect severe weather, we still see it. I'm Kevin Crouch with South Metro Weather, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued here. Man, I am blurry. That camera did not do what it was supposed to do. Give me a second here, folks. I'm sorry. I think the technology here is still used to this being summer and not usually having these storms to cover. So now that that's working, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued for parts of Dallas, Tarrant, Johnson, and Ellis counties here. So including Midlothian, Venus, Burleson, down to Arlington, Mansfield, Grand Prairie, over to Duncanville, DeSoto, Oak Cliff, so southeast Dallas County, so southwest rather. In this complex, you can see this outflow boundary, really two outflow boundaries that kind of converged here and made quite the storm here in parts of Dallas and Tarrant counties, moving to the southeast here. So you can see that particular storm. The other thing you can see is these green boxes. Those are flash flood warnings. So we've had a lot of heavy rain here, especially in Dallas County, parts of western Tarrant County, eastern Tarrant County, western Dallas County, where the heaviest rain is right now. So you can see that moving to the southeast very quickly. Part of it to the southeast, I should say. Moving to the southeast in parts of Ellis and Kaufman counties here. That storm is not severe at this point. Moving southwest, this particular storm. And I mean, you can see the polygon here, kind of more of a southwesterly direction, but it does look like it's almost moving nearly due south. So let's zoom in on that first, because that is the primary storm right now. So you can see that we have the little pinks here. I'm not expecting a lot of hail out of this. I think the primary risk with this storm is going to be the strong winds. If we pull up the dialog box here, actually take a look at this. Yes, so the hail is predicted, or at least projected, to be less than an inch. So 60 mile per hour wind gusts are the primary risk with this storm. So this is one of those that you get these outflow boundaries that come together, and this storm very quickly intensifies, and then you get that quick rush of strong winds, and this storm may not be severe for very long. A lot of the time in the summer, we have these storms that have a tendency to really intensify real quickly, and then they kind of quickly die away. So this one, I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon, but it may not be severe for too terribly long. Really, the bigger threat here, I think, is going to be the very heavy rainfall, and a lot of this activity hasn't been moving much. This is actually the most movement we've seen from this complex all evening. It's been raining hard all across parts of Dallas County this evening, so really, that's going to be the primary concern there. From Euless over North Richland Hills, we're seeing the very heavy rain that is a little more stationary there. So I'm a little more concerned about flash flooding at the moment in this area. Now, that's not to discount parts of southwestern Dallas County, southeastern Tarrant County, really all of eastern Tarrant County at this point, because the rain is just so much rain in a very short amount of time. So this particular storm headed towards Mansfield, headed towards Alvarado, Venus, Midlothian. Red Oak will get at least part of this. Ovilla, Oakleaf, that area. I'm unsure if this will make it all the way down to Waxahachie or to Cleburne or Grandview and farther south than that. So that's what we're seeing as far as that severe storm. Obviously, you see those blue boxes, those blue polygons, those are the special weather statements. That's not a severe storm, but it does mean that it is a stronger storm with some stronger attributes. Not severe. You have to understand and remember that a severe thunderstorm, the criteria for that is 58 mile per hour winds or greater and 1 inch in diameter hail or larger. So these storms, gusty winds, maybe some small hail, but not to that severe level. If we broaden this out a little bit, there are other parts of our area that do have some storms going on. Mostly right now, the storms in parts of Johnson and Hill counties have really weakened quite a bit, kind of falling apart at the most part. But over in Erath County, north of Stephenville, so you can see quite a bit of activity. There are a few stronger storms. Again, not severe and not warned at this time, but you do have to consider that there is very heavy rain falling in those areas. So if you are in a flood-prone area, there might be some minor flooding going on there. Now, I know that flooding is a very sensitive term right now. I'm not expecting anything to the magnitude that we saw in the Hill Country, but there could very well be some localized flooding, especially up in the Metroplex. That's where you're a little more concerned about urban flooding. So depending on how well or how not well the drainage systems and that kind of infrastructure up there can handle that, that could be a concern for that particular area. But this is the storm that we are watching as far as that severe thunderstorm warning. Let's take a look at the winds in this storm, and definitely stronger winds. I would say the strongest winds right now, you can see kind of this little area right there in Arlington. So that's where the strongest winds are going to be. You can see there's more gusty winds affiliated with this, but definitely the strongest winds right there in the Arlington area right now. But if we put this into motion, you can see those are making their way into the Mansfield area. Outside, if you're looking around at the storm, you're going to see a pretty impressive shelf cloud out there. That's your evidence visually that you have those strong winds at the surface. And so you will at least get some gusty winds out of this. You can see another little outflow boundary extending from about Ovilla on towards south of Palmer there towards Ennis, moving towards Waxahachie. So that will be another rush of gusty, cool winds. We've had these outflow boundaries that have just been bouncing around everywhere. And so that has made for an interesting night for sure. And we had a couple of those collide, and that's what made the storms that kind of prompted this severe thunderstorm warning. Now, as far as the hail threat, South Dallas, so that's going to be right around DeSoto there. There could be some small hail. I'm not seeing indications of severe hail at this time, but definitely some small hail south Dallas County there. And then on, again, Arlington up towards Bedford, could be some small hail there. Again, this is where we're looking at those stronger winds. And the winds are going to be the primary threat with this storm as far as what is possibly severe here. I don't know what it is with this weather pattern. This thing has had me with on and off headaches for the last few days. And I keep joking with people that I'm supposed to be getting a break right now. We're supposed to not be working very hard, but you know, we're just kind of in that mode now where things are quite active. And so there goes one of the severe, one of the flash flood warnings that is knocked out there. Now, if you're signed up for a weather call, you knew we were going to talk about weather call a little bit, you got a phone call when this warning was issued. And so that is one of those big perks. And I mean, there's been a lot of conversation recently, a lot of conversation about, hey, I need to make sure I have a way to receive warnings. With recent events, that's been one of the topics of conversation is, you know, hey, I got to make sure that I'm going to get informed, because we're finding out that some of that infrastructure that we rely on may or may not be working out, those kinds of things. So if you are interested in weather call, definitely get signed up for that. When there's a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning, you're going to get that phone call directly from me. You also get an email and a text message, either or, if you like one or the other, or it could be both. But it's going to give you a link that you can click on, and it's going to show you the radar, the polygon, give you all the details. But it's going to let you know when that warning is issued. And if it's just a tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, flood watch, flash flood warning, those kinds of things, it's not going to call you. Those things may not be as urgent. But obviously, we saw flash flood emergencies that were issued the last few days with that storm. You will get a phone call from my voice telling you that a flash flood emergency has been issued and there is an urgent need to get to safety. So you definitely need to be signed up for that. Now, Suzanne, I'm familiar with your area, and you're not included in the warning. So you're only going to get a phone call if you're included in the severe thunderstorm warning polygon. If you're If you're outside of this polygon, then you're not going to get notified. That's the beauty of it. A lot of these notification systems, a lot of these apps and different things, they'll let you know when there's a warning somewhere in your county. So you could be in Ennis getting a notification about a warning in Midlothian. That's not your area. You're only going to get notified by weather call when it's actually in your specific area at your address. So just keep that in mind, that if you didn't get a call and everything's set correctly in your settings in your account, nothing to worry about. No news is good news because you're not included in that warning. So if you are interested in that, you need a way to get reliable, quick. They're the quickest out there, to be honest with you. Mine always come in very, very quickly. So make sure that you are signed up for weather call or have some way to receive those warnings. Thank you, Suzanne, for your Cash App donation, and thank you, Haley, for the Venmo. Those are greatly appreciated as always. So this storm continues to be severe warned at this time. That outflow boundary is coming through, and I can see that out the window. Very rugged clouds out there. Very, very nice. This is, I think, the only thing that can be a bummer sometimes is when you're stuck in a studio, you don't always get to look at the fun stuff, look at the clouds and that kind of thing. But we can take a look and see what Glen Heights looks like right now. Let's take a look here. Yes, so right here in Glen Heights, we are looking to, I believe this is looking to the north. So you can see kind of the leading edge of some of that, some of those clouds that are, yeah, so we're looking, let's see, if we can see the little pole there, we're going to be looking northwest, I believe. And you can see the camera starting to shake here. This is looking at, again, this is a camera in Glen Heights, and this is showing you, here's that very heavy rain, just that solid area. So Vicki, you said your address, not where you actually are. So you can use the Find Me feature to get warnings where you're located temporarily if you're away from your address. So you can do both, or kind of one or the other. But this is in Glen Heights. So you can see those lower clouds associated with that gust front. That's what you're seeing there. And then of course behind it, just that solid wall of very heavy rain looking off to the north from the Glen Heights area. And again, you can see those gusty winds. You can see all the lightning affiliated with that. And you can see the camera just a moment ago started to shake a little bit. You can definitely see the flags are picking up in their action. So they are definitely prepared to get this storm in the Glen Heights area. We'll check in again here after a while and kind of keep tabs on that for sure. And you can see 13 miles per hour for those winds, and we'll continue to see those winds gusting up there as that storm moves in. And those gusty winds are going to be the primary risk with this storm. So the primary concern is those winds of about 60 miles per hour. That's right about your baseline for a severe thunderstorm. So not looking at anything extravagant. We've been talking about weather call, and one of the cool things about that weather call service is that if you actually are let me just make sure all my fun stuff is up here. But if you're signed up for weather call, when those severe thunderstorm warnings are escalated, when you have winds of 70 miles per hour or 80 miles per hour, those are considerable and destructive damage warnings. And so you're going to get that notification as well. And yeah, I mean, looking outside right now, I wish I had a camera right here that we could actually feature, but you know, we're able to at least look in Glen Heights, so we'll check that camera again here shortly. And you can see out in the front, this is where you can see some of that gust front, kind of the leading edge of that. So again, we were looking at Glen Heights, so it's just kind of making that direction. Peyton, I am not able to pin that comment right now. And Ryan, I have a Ring camera, but I don't have a way to put that on the air right now. So that's kind of where we're at with that. This storm is not moving terribly quickly. And the gust front on the front of it maybe, but I don't think it's moving that fast. I mean, we're probably, okay, yeah, moving south at 15 miles per hour. So south-southwest movement right now. And there we go. So there's a sign up for a weather call. Thank you so much for joining in and for having a way to receive warnings. That's always a big relief for me where, you know, when folks have that opportunity. So Vicky, power fluctuations in Cedar Hill. So you're getting the heaviest of this, and there's going to be a lot of lightning in this storm too. So we're looking at this storm. I know there's a lot of folks that are just jumping in. So we're looking at this severe warned thunderstorm right now. The primary risk with this storm is going to be gusty winds. Not really that much of a hail threat. There's probably some small hail here. There's going to be plenty of heavy rain with this storm as well. We will probably see some flash flood warnings issued farther south as this storm continues to progress. But the main consideration with this is going to be those winds of 60, perhaps 65 miles per hour. I don't think that this has been updated yet. I believe it's still, yeah, they still have that at 60 miles per hour. So, and that's for another 37 minutes here. So that's going to run, let me see, that runs until, they have the time on there? Maybe, until 9 o'clock, okay. They always put in a different spot depending on who actually writes that up. Yeah, so lots of reports of just very heavy rain in this storm. And we'll put this back into motion for you. And you can see the core of this storm, the strongest part of the storm, where those winds are making its way southeastward, moving fairly quickly here. I would say we're actually, just in the last few minutes, this has picked up steam. So it is moving fairly quickly. Now, the part of the storm that most likely has some hail associated with it, just in northern Fort Worth right now, kind of extending outward along with that outflow boundary. That's probably the strongest part of the storm in terms of your gusty winds and your hail right there in northern Fort Worth. Just moved out of the Bedford area. So there's parts of these storms, parts of this one that are dropping a lot of rain in a short amount of time. So you have to pay attention to those flash flood warnings when those are issued. But you can see this storm surging southward right into parts of Johnson and Ellis counties here. And again, it's sped up here just in the last few minutes, because I mean, we read a second ago, moving about 15 miles per hour. Well, in the last few minutes, this one has definitely surged ahead as the winds are picking up. So I want to make sure we give everybody a kind of a broader view of this. And as I mentioned, there's no way of knowing how long this storm is going to last, how far it's going to go. A lot of these do not really, I'm going to put that where I can see that a little better. A lot of these summer storms don't really hang around too terribly long. Let me check this. I got a few things coming in. So a lot of these storms, especially in the summer, they intensify, they get charged up by an outflow boundary or something of that sort, and then they kind of die away. So we'll see how long this one lasts. You can already tell this storm just to the east of Ferris here, right along the Trinity River, already starting to kind of fall apart. So not a whole lot of intensity there. But as these outflow boundaries continue, these little outflow boundaries that in a situation like this, you got storms popping up everywhere. Well, as those kind of fall away and die away, well, that energy's got to go somewhere. So again, you can see this outflow boundary and that one, they collide here and they spark those storms. So that's the one, kind of the extension of this over in Tarrant County. And there's another weather call sign up, so I love that. Here in Tarrant County, just check this out. Look at this dominant outflow boundary here, and you got this one running along it so that it gives enough shear and enough lift to actually build that storm there. Nicole, I'm not seeing rotation with this storm. I'm only seeing straight line winds at this point with that particular storm. Let's actually pull up the camera in Glen Heights again. Plenty of camera movement. You can see, number one, you can look at the flags that are trying to keep up. You can tell the camera is shaking here, and you can see The very heavy rain associated with this. So gusty storm headed into northern Ellis County right now. And I mean, quite the storm, all the lightning with this one. So you really want to make sure you're indoors for this. Do not be outdoors waiting for this storm. Plenty of lightning, and if you're close enough to hear thunder, you're close enough to get struck. Lightning can strike 30 miles outside of a storm. That's a fact that a lot of people don't think is accurate, but it really, really is. So again, we're looking in the Glen Heights area right there where that storm is coming in. You're not even in the main kind of wind field here in Midlothian, Venus, Mansfield. So that's the area where that storm is coming through. Again, we talk about these outflow boundaries. Those things have been bouncing around all evening, and this morning, really through most of the afternoon, we had storms to the northwest of us, and we had storms to the southeast of us. And southeast was those storms kind of making their way in from a low pressure system off the coast, not a tropical system necessarily, but a low pressure system out there. And then northwest flow was giving us storms farther to the northwest, and then the convergence of those is what gave us some of the storms that we are seeing tonight. So I said earlier several times actually that I wasn't expecting severe weather, and I wasn't, but that doesn't necessarily mean it can't happen. Even if briefly. I think that this storm is probably not in the severe weather or in the severe realm for too much longer here. We look at the winds, and really you can see kind of pockets of stronger winds here. Again, the stronger winds are probably right there in the Arlington area, and I think you're going to get some, again, gusty winds. We looked at that camera in Glen Heights. So there are going to be gusty winds all through this storm, but not anything particularly destructive at this time as far as what we are seeing. We'll look at the hail threat here. Probably some hail right there near the DeSoto area. So maybe I would say, let's kind of zoom in on that a little bit. And so yeah, between DeSoto and Duncanville, right there between kind of that triangle of DeSoto, Duncanville, and Cedar Hill, right in this area. That's where we're looking. We could have some severe hail. Again, severe hail is 1 inch or more in diameter. I would say you're probably topping out around 1 inch if you're getting there. So not terribly destructive hail at this point. They're near Haltom City, just north of Fort Worth, looking at some possible hail there as well. But again, the primary risk with this storm is going to be those strong winds. And as we put this into motion again, you can see that storm making its way to the south-southeast. So I've got some pretty dark clouds over the studio right now, but I don't actually have this storm headed my way. We're just looking at an outflow boundary that's come through, but there's enough of that just bouncing around here to where we are looking at some very intense looking clouds, what we call them SLCs, scary looking clouds that aren't actually really doing anything. So sometimes you have those pretty intimidating looking situations, but you got to actually look and see what it's doing. Sometimes there's a lot more bark than bite with these particular storms. So we have the storm here in, really there's kind of 2 separate storms here. One just north of Fort Worth. Then we have this storm. This is the one that was severe warned. And we may have to look at another warning there in parts of Tarrant County for that one just outside of this polygon. But this is the storm that was severe warned. What I'll tell you is this one looks like it's probably getting ready to kind of blow itself out, kind of rain itself out. And, you know, a lot of the winds at this point are going to be on the surface. And so once this storm loses its stability and loses that all that lift, because you can see the outflow boundary here. So really this storm, they're going to intensify really quickly, and then typical of summer, after they rain themselves out for a little while, they die out from top to bottom, and all that moisture, all of that energy, all of that wind goes down and out. So you'll get a very strong push of winds, and then it's gone. It just kind of falls away. So that is what we're used to seeing this time of year. And it looks like this evening is going to be nothing different. But the thing is, because you have those winds that come out of the cloud, hit the ground, you know, spread out, that's where you get those outflow boundaries. And just like we showed you where these two come together, well, that's where you get some of that shear, some of that lift, and you get those new storms. So one storm dies out, push out an outflow boundary, and then that outflow eventually creates new storms. So that's what we see in the summer. And that's why the forecast can be so tough, because we can forecast 20-30% chance of rain. Just say there might be a few out there. Well, those few can multiply. They can breed like rabbits with these outflow boundaries that are flying around out there, creating different storms, because we will have one outflow boundary puts out the one storm that puts out one outflow boundary, that creates about 3 more. Those 3 put out outflow, and it just multiplies from there. So that can cause a lot of this kind of chaos. Dylan, as far as making its way to Austin, I mean, we're pretty far north of Austin here in the Dallas-Fort Worth, the south side of the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. So I'm not really expecting this in particular to make it to Austin. Not honestly sure about the forecast in that area, because, you know, we're right up here in north central Texas. So getting more weather call signups. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very, very good. So greatly appreciate everybody that is downloading that. And the thing is, weather call is not an app. You're not relying on cell phone reception somewhere. You put your address in, the server's going to handle it by itself. I was just on a call today, and we were talking about how all that technologically is set up. I've had people tell me that they get the weather call before they even see the polygon here on the screen. It's very, very quick. Yeah, so I'm looking at the comments here, lots and lots of talk about all of the winds. So very strong winds in this particular area. When all of this was going down, I was out at Worth collecting. They have Pokemon trading night and dueling nights on Tuesdays and Fridays. My son loves to go hang out there. Met some new folks there as well. And Worth collecting is definitely worth checking out on a Tuesday or Friday night, especially in the summer. It's inside. You find something fun to do with the kids indoors in the summer. It's a great place to go. Let's see. Yeah, power outages, at least brief ones reported in the Arlington area. And lots of rain on Shiloh Road. So yeah, in the Midlothian area, you're getting that heavy rain starting to move in. But again, this storm, I don't expect it to hang around too much longer. In the words of Dusty on Twister, it's not hanging out long. This one is likely going to rain itself out fairly quickly, and then that storm will quickly fall apart. But we'll have to watch and see what the outflow boundaries are going to do with that storm overall, and that will be part of what determines whether it makes it to Waxahachie. If anything, it looks like it might make it to at least western portions of Waxahachie. Not too sure what that's going to look like, but if it does, it will be in the next 10 to 15 minutes or so. We're at least getting some dark clouds in Waxahachie, and a lot of that is going to be outflow from this storm. The storm itself is not in that area yet, but I would say the next 10-15 minutes or so, that's where you're going to be looking at that moving in that particular direction. Get a message out here. I think I'm going to need to call in some caffeine here, because I am tired from today, but we've got an active evening ahead of us. So that's just kind of where we are at. Let's see, a couple of folks asking about Ennis, and the Ennis area right now, not expecting, well, I say that. Let's actually take a look at this. Oh, and there's stuff falling on me. So let's take a look. There's a couple of things that I'm watching for the Ennis area. Now, number one, this main storm, I'm not sure if that, in fact, I don't think this main storm's going to head to Ennis. But again, we're looking at this outflow. You can see that these storms are starting to fall apart, but you can see that progression southward. See that moving into Palmer, right down the, this is going to be the clouds that just moved into Waxahachie as well, and right down the Trinity River. So as that's moving southward, Ennis, you can see that it's popping up new rain. So I do think Ennis will at least get some rain out there, and then we will continue on with more southward progression of that outflow, and that could very well create some new storms there. And thank you, Terry, my lovely wife, for the caffeine here, because we gotta do that. In fact, I was talking to My son, I met my son's friend's dad tonight, and we were talking about Jurassic Park. So, Bobby, if you're watching, the Dr. Pepper cups are pretty sick. I love the Mosasaurus, and that's what they've got on the cans here. So that's pretty cool. So here's what we're looking at. The question, what are those green lines on the radar by Benbrook? So that is, well, let's actually go up there. A couple of things. So there's two answers for that. One, this is an outflow boundary. And you can see that's that dominant outflow boundary that was moseying along, and then it hit another one, made a storm, and it's charged now, headed into White Settlement and towards Benbrook. This line here is really just a distortion of the radar, so that's not actually doing anything. So that's where we're at there. With this particular storm, as far as a hail threat, and I see that question there, move that a little too far up there. So if there's any hail threat right now, I'm a little more concerned about northern Fort Worth. Now, central Tarrant County. Now, I'm not going to say that there's catastrophic or destructive or major hail with that storm. I'm not seeing that. Debbie, thank you so much for, let's see. Well, if I can get, okay. So yeah, Debbie, thank you so much for the Cash App donation. Greatly appreciated there. So with these storms headed southward, I mean, this one's not really holding together for too long, I don't think. This storm in Fort Worth could be some small hail with that. It's not severe warned at this time, so I'm not worried about damaging hail. Could be some gusty winds with that as well. But you notice this storm, now that we've got this outflow boundary out ahead of it, it's starting to push away its energy. So, excuse me, it's not doing much, not doing a whole lot more, I think, in that area. Plenty of heavy rain still, as that is now moving farther into Ellis County. Not looking at a tornado risk. I've seen that question a few times. Not concerned about tornadoes tonight. Haven't really seen any rotation or anything of that sort, but definitely some stronger straight line winds as opposed to those rotating winds in this storm. I'm about to drop this drink and ruin everything. I'll tell you, we are not used to seeing this much rain happening on July 8th, or really this late in the summer. I'm going to be taking a look tomorrow to see how do the numbers compare to past Julys. I mean, we've been very fortunate here. Obviously, we talk about how much rain we've gotten. It's hard to have that conversation because I know that there are parts of our state very recently where rain was particularly tragic, and I can't even begin to say how heartbroken I am still over all the stories that we're hearing there. And we have put out numerous times the links to go help. So if you're interested in helping there, what I'll tell you is I am not encouraging anyone to take stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Stuff, whether it's clothes or what have you. Down in Kerrville and in that area, the hill country, they do not need stuff. Send them financial resources, okay? Because when you bring a bunch of stuff, that means the people that are doing the recovery efforts and the relief efforts, they suddenly have to take time and resources out of that effort to go find where to put all this stuff, because they're not usually prepared for that. It's not like they have a warehouse just sitting around in case there's a flood and a bunch of people donate stuff, right? So, I mean, that's a big concern there right now, is people keep bringing in stuff. They don't need stuff. If you send them financial resources, those don't take up room, and that allows them to manage those donations much easier and much more intuitively to what they need. So, feel free to donate to HEB. Has done a wonderful job. The Community Foundation of the Hill Country, of the Texas Hill Country, has set up a fund as well. And then if you go to the City of Kerrville website, I believe they are sharing some of those links as well. Not really looking at a chance of tornadoes tonight. I had that question here a few times, and fortunately not worried about tornadoes in this area, just a severe thunderstorm warning. And you know what? I'm going to, while we're talking about it tonight, Let's do this. I'm just going to promote HEB's. There's the link where you can download to HEB's Spirit of Giving Fund. That is, you saw the trucks on the news. Everyone was sharing footage of it. They are down in the hill country helping out. So that is where you can donate to that effort. That's going to be the best possible thing. To donate to those who are on the ground actually doing that work and allow them to continue doing what they're doing instead of worrying about resources or storage for stuff, right? Give them money so that they can buy the stuff they need when they need it instead of having to put a bunch of stuff somewhere. So another sign up on Weather Call. Love it, love it, love it. Always excited to see more people signing up for Weather Call because that's more people who will be warned when it is absolutely necessary. So if you're just joining us tonight, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for, let's see, that was going until, 9 o'clock. So about another 17 minutes from now before that warning expires. And I think they will likely allow that to expire because this particular storm does look to be falling apart here. I don't think it's going to last much longer. Don't think it's going to hang around much longer because we have seen all of the energy get pushed out of this storm. That's how you have those strong winds. And it looks like it's slowly but surely falling apart. Now, I see your comments. You're starting to get the rain in Palmer. So we do have this outflow that is now creating some new showers farther south. You can't even see the outflow boundary by itself, but if you watch, you can see the southward progression of all that new convection there, that new development, and that is where you have that outflow. So that, there we go, quickly developing new showers right there in the Palmer area. So that will continue on to the south. That will affect the Ennis area, could end up going farther south into Navarro County. At the same time, though, we are looking at sunset. So when we lose daytime heating, that will also help to kind of rob some of these storms of some of that daytime heating that they often use for continuing to maintain themselves. And we'll have outflow boundaries bouncing around. Sometimes those are all they need to create that lift. But as the night goes on, yeah, we'll start cooling down. I mean, we're already at 76 degrees here at the studio at 8:45 on July 8th. So you gotta love it. Let's see. I wanted to go back to a comment that I missed here. HEB was awesome when a tornado hit our neighborhood. They fed us for weeks. HEB, I mean, those folks, say what you will, for whatever reason, about HEB. They beat FEMA, they beat everybody. They get there, they get the job done. So I have never seen HEB fail. Even in fact, there was an Australian comedian who I believe was in San Antonio for a show. And that comedian learned about HEB that when certain politicians skipped town during the great ice storm we had, when federal resources were lagging behind, when certain politicians and elected leaders and people couldn't be found, not just one, but more than one, HEB was just there. I mean, they were feeding people, they were taking care of people. So as a weatherman myself, I know that when the fit hits the shan, if you will, HEB is going to be there helping out. So I always take pride in shopping there and supporting them. And I've gotten to know some of the folks at HEB here in Waxahachie, and I'm always very impressed with what they do. And besides, they have really good stuff. I just got their, I believe it was their mango limeade. Really good. Really, really good. Perfect summer drink. Really, really good. Yes, so Sandra Paytek, yeah, it was the ice storm February 2021. And Maria, you're asking about Blooming Grove. Blooming Grove is a little farther south, so really it's going to depend on what this outflow boundary does as it continues to sag southward here. And, if the outflow can provide enough lift to overcome the loss of daytime heating, could be some showers and storms in Blooming Grove later this evening. But for the most part right now, I don't have a whole lot of confidence that it's going to last that long. So we may be a little behind in terms of, at least in the Blooming Grove area. And Cassie, I'm seeing there might be some small hail in the Fort Worth area right now, but I'm not expecting a lot of hail out of this storm. It's really starting to lose intensity at this point. In the Keene area, not really raining there either. Could be some rain head there shortly, but really this storm is going to start quickly falling apart. So here's what we just saw. So this is so special weather, I was just reading this. Special weather statement issued for parts of Tarrant and now Johnson and Parker counties. So this is going to be for this storm. This is the one we were just talking about in the Fort Worth area that may have some hail associated with it. Let's see what they're calling for. Probably going to be penny-sized hail, I would guess. Let's see there. Okay, winds up to 50 miles per hour. So they're not calling for hail concerns with this. I would still say some small hail might be possible, but we have lost that pink. So we are kind of seeing this one probably losing some of that intensity. But that's headed to the southeast. They're calling it 15 miles per hour. And maybe moving a little bit more quickly than that. But moving towards White Settlement, towards Benbrook. So not a severe storm at this time, but it is a strong storm as this one continues on to the southwest. Something else that we are looking at doing, and I guess we can just do a live poll here. We have been playing with the idea, I've been playing with the idea of a daily forecast live stream. So I've been trying to get back into doing the daily so that just to update you, the severe thunderstorm warning has been allowed to expire here. In fact, I think they've allowed that to expire. They canceled it about 10 minutes early. And then this blue, that is the special weather statement for winds of about 50 plus miles per hour. But we've been playing with the idea of a daily live forecast, at least weekday, daily live forecast update. So just like you would see on a TV screen, a TV channel, up in Dallas, so, that's going to be a live stream on, we would do that probably around 11 o'clock. I've been playing with the branding Kevin at 11. So we'll see what that does. But, that maybe we can do, I don't know if I want to promise this. I'm going to keep that logged away. But yeah, so Kevin at 11, so right before your lunch hour, or maybe we'll make it a lunch hour thing. I'm not sure. We're going to continue to play with that idea. But at 11 or 12, we'll see what works better. We will do a forecast update for you. We may actually end up doing 12 o'clock, at least 12 noon, because around 11:30, 11:45, a lot of the time they'll update Storm Prediction Center maps. So we may actually have to push that to noon. Alondra, 7 would be tough. 7 o'clock, I'm a lot of the time getting kids out the door to school. So 7 a.m. would be tough. That's usually when I'm putting the actual 7-day forecast in the morning out, and then the 11 o'clock update could just be that. Could be an update here. So, Jamie, are we concerned about the flooding from Mesquite coming down here to this system? So the flash flood warning you're seeing here, this storm is generally weakening as it moves south. So I am not too terribly concerned about that right now. So we'll watch that, we'll monitor that, but this particular storm, I'm less concerned about flash flooding as it moves southward, because I think that it's beginning to lose a lot of that intensity that it had up in the Dallas area. I can't guarantee that there may not be some flooding, and I know, Jamie, you're in an area where you're more concerned with runoff. I'm less concerned about flooding in your area at this point. Jamie, that's an idea as well. We'll see what works. we'll see what we can make happen there. It's definitely something that my schedule's crazy as it is, so it's one of those things I got to see how often that's going to be interrupted and if I'm going to be able to keep it consistent. But when I do it live, it takes away my need to actually edit and post. So it actually takes away some of the work on my part. And then, of course, we can answer questions there as well. So here's what we're looking at. I'm following your comments there, but I guess the question right now is that something you would want to watch? And the other question, more importantly with that is, would you consider a live stream for a forecast update to be intrusive? Because there are some who have told me they like having the live streams specifically for severe weather. Now, if you know to expect it, an 11 o'clock broadcast to talk about the 7-day, and then you get a live stream at 4, then obviously at that point, you know that's out of the norm. But it's definitely one of those things where, you know, different people, I don't want to make it so that you're so, you know, it's a cry wolf situation where you're so used to seeing live streams that you don't take them seriously anymore. That kind of thing. That's the other concern that we have there. And Jacob, not looking at tornadic activity. Doesn't look like much is headed to and yeah, Jamie, so yes, only live stream for severe weather, or call it something with a keyword or emoji. So normally when we do severe weather, we're going to put the title as live severe weather coverage. So when you see that notification come up, it's going to tell you live severe weather coverage. I mean, that's why I do that, is I put the date and then live severe weather coverage so that you know right off the bat what it is. So that may be the way to work around that. But not really expecting, I'm not expecting much to hit Italy. We're losing daytime heating here, and so that is going to limit further storm development. In fact, you can see that this is already starting to slow down its southern progression. So not expecting much for the Italy area as we go forward with this. We'll zoom in just a little bit to get a better picture, and you can already see it's starting to lose intensity, but it is putting out outflow. So anytime you have this outflow moving southward, you have the possibility of additional development of some of that activity. But right now, I'm not really concerned about the Italy area. Somebody over in Bristol talking, and you have some heavy rain headed that way. Okay, here's a new special weather statement. Let's see what the National Weather Service is seeing here. There's probably still some remnant gusty winds. Yeah, winds in excess of 40 miles per hour. So you can already tell that's weakening, because we were looking at 60 mile per hour winds earlier. That's been downgraded now to 50 mile per hour, or rather 40 mile per hour winds. And that's going to continue to weaken, but it's slowing down. So it's kind of hit the brakes here. The outflow may continue to move southward, but this storm is really starting to run out of gas over northern Ellis County. We get caught up on some comments here. Marissa, no, not really worried about hail in Waxahachie. The hail threat has really deteriorated with this particular storm. It continues to weaken here, and so I suspect that this storm is going to continue to show a weakening trend. There's still some gusty winds there, like we talked about, around 40 miles per hour, really up to 40 miles per hour probably, and then very heavy rain with that as well. So it's just you know, not much in addition to just some heavy rain and some gusty winds. And Tanya, that blue, that is the special weather statement. So that is what that is looking at. Yeah, so hearing the gusty winds are making their way to Maypearl. Again, this particular storm, this is the one that was severe warned earlier tonight. Just a severe, or a special weather statement rather, for this storm now, up to 40 mile per hour winds. Carol, once this leaves, it's going to be tough. There may still be some scattered showers behind all of this. You can see in northern Dallas County, some of this outflow is still kind of popping up little showers. So we may, once this is past you, you may still have some showers behind it, But all of this is expected to kind of fall apart as we go through the night. We've lost daytime heating, so that's going to rob some of these storms of their intensity, and then we'll continue on from there. So let me check a couple of other things here. Lots of good pictures coming in. Always appreciate that. Oh yeah, lots of good pictures coming in. So let me try to get caught up on those. And as always, I appreciate all the folks that have signed up for Weather Call. As I mentioned, we've had several tonight, and if you're signed up for Weather Call, when you get a severe thunderstorm warning like we got tonight, you'll get a call from me letting you know, hey, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for your area. Seek further information. That's when you can log into South Metro Weather. It's when you can check the text message that comes with it to see where the storm is, how quickly it's moving, those kind of details. You'll get the same thing for a tornado warning, even a flash flood emergency like they had in the Hill Country. If one of those is issued, you're going to get that phone call. Now, if it's something like a tornado watch, severe thunderstorm watch, or something maybe less intense or less urgent, we're not going to call you. We're going to send a text message or an email, because we know that if you get a phone call, then you're probably taking things pretty seriously, but you don't want to. You don't want to. Yeah, I mean, you don't want to get called if you don't absolutely have to. Amanda Dobbs, you got the notice but never got the call. So if you're getting a text message and an email about a warning but no call, just check your settings there. If your settings appear right, let me know and I'll see if I can help you figure that out. I will say on the audio on these live streams, I'm still trying to figure out the audio situation. I know the audio is fairly quiet. Still can't figure that out. Still trying to work on that. So I apologize if there is an issue there with the audio being really quiet. Still trying to work that out. It's a weird balance that I'm having to work with these microphones. And Jennifer Plaster, drink the Dr. Pepper with your right hand, product placement, possible sponsor. Trust me, I would love to have Dr. Pepper as a sponsor. I don't think I'm on their map. I don't think I have the millions of people in their audience, that they would want. I'm seeing lightning to my south. So that must be the storm that's just popped up here. Again, we've been talking about this outflow. So when you have that outflow moving out ahead of the storm, that can pop up these new storms. So that's what we're seeing here. Just saw the first lightning strike out of that one. So that is quite the intense little storm there. It's going to be right around Lake Waxahachie. So that particular one, there's going to be some gusty winds associated with that. And then there's also going to be, I'm not seeing any kind of hail threat right now. That's going to be behind. Could be some small hail with that. Amy, does Weather Call follow you when you're traveling? We were driving through Lampasas during the torrential rain on the 3rd, and I never got any calls. Got a call and an email today from Midlothian area, still in the Hill Country. Yeah, so yes and no. A couple of things I'll tell you. First, there is, if you log into your Weather Call account, you can click Find Me, and that's going to move the location to where you are. It's going to use cell service and that kind of thing to find you where you are and temporarily move that location from your address to where you are. The other thing I recommend is if you travel often, we have a service called Weather Call on the Go, and it's a GPS. Is Weather Call on the Go or Weather Call GPS, something like that? It's a GPS system. And you get a little debit card sized little box that you can put in your vehicle. Doesn't have to be installed or anything. But that is going to put a 5-mile radius around you. And when there's a warning issued, several people are saying that they've lost connection. I don't see any issues on my side. So not sure what's going on there. And thank you so much, Carol Saunders, for the PayPal. That's greatly appreciated. Okay, so we're having some issues on Facebook. We've had these issues before. Mine is working. So I'm not sure what's going on. On my Facebook, I'm able to see it. Let's see here. We're still live on Facebook. I'm not sure what the possible issue is there. My recommendation is to close it and reopen it. That might fix it. But yeah, not sure what's going on there. Somebody asking if I like Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. I've never tried it. So I don't really know if I like it or not. Not too sure. And I'm not sure what happened on Facebook. We've had this issue before where, you know, Facebook, it just kind of freezes and there's no indication on my end of any issues. Everything looks fine on Facebook, so I'm not really sure what's going on there. But the YouTube stream is still working. So, in fact, let me just grab the man, this is moving slow. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, let's post this on the Facebook stream here. That's going to be our YouTube stream. So that one is working, but I'm hearing that there's a lot of issues on the Facebook stream. Not sure what the deal is there. Okay, so Facebook is having some issues. All right, let me try to fix this, folks. I don't know what's going on there, but Facebook. Okay, Facebook is having some issues here. So I'm going to post on the you'll do me a favor. Do me a favor, let's go over to, I apologize for all of the screaming in the background. My child's decided to yell non-stop. All right, so here is, so let's go, everybody go to the Facebook page. Yeah, Facebook, I don't know what the deal is there. Facebook has decided to stop carrying us for whatever reason. So I've posted on Facebook the link to the YouTube stream. If you'll go to Facebook and share that, because what Facebook likes to do is they will go in and hide those posts that are, you know, talking about other platforms. So if you'll go to the Facebook page, share the post that is talking about the YouTube stream, that will help us. Just 1 second. Yeah, I love how somebody said, Kevin, this is not a good time for a break. Well, that's why we're not taking a break. Facebook took us down. At least the live stream. The page is still there. I hope so. I hope at least. Yeah, not sure what happened there, but we'll continue to go on the YouTube stream, and we're not sure what's going on with Facebook, but we can continue on YouTube. And we're starting to get some lightning and thunder here at the studio, definitely loud thunder. Um, so Stephanie Smith, I'm still getting comments on. Hold on here, folks. People are still commenting on the Facebook stream. Um, yeah, not sure what's happening there. Well, and it's a technical issue because it's OBS is telling us they're not able to send the data to the Facebook stream. So it looks like it's a technical issue somewhere in between the streaming program and Facebook. So let's see here. Okay, I think we might be back on here. All right, let's see. Did that do the trick? No. Well, now it's gonna switch me around here. Okay. All right, I think we're back. I think we're back on Facebook. Had to reset it. Not sure what was going on there. Weirdness, but we're back to, we're getting more lightning and thunder from this, so we're getting some new life now from this storm, the outflow boundary, and this is without daytime heating. So folks were asking about the Italy area. It looks like they could actually get some development, but you see the outflow here, and in its wake, we are seeing these storms popping up. So these are not severe storms at this time, but that outflow boundary is allowing these new storms to pop up, and we are definitely getting the lightning and thunder with this. But what I'm going to tell you is, definitely make sure. Give me 1 second here. So definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that is going to be, you definitely want to, well, here, let me just try this. Let me try one more thing here. Okay, so sending over, if you're on the Facebook page, I highly, highly, highly recommend subscribing on YouTube for 2 reasons. 1, when there's a technical issue like that, you can still find me. And 2, it's better quality over there. The videos are actually better quality. So if you're on the Facebook stream, go over to our YouTube channel and definitely subscribe there. That way you have both. And I have a lot of people tell me, there will be people that'll tell me that they like the Facebook or they like the YouTube stream on their TV, and then they'll have the Facebook chat on their phone, that kind of thing. Let's see. Jamie, you're saying the DFW scanner saying lots of damage in Arlington, Mansfield, Grand Prairie from this line. I'll have to check that when I get a chance. Yeah, so the storm overall, and Lloyd, yeah, you're right. I mean, we're seeing this storm calming down here. It's falling apart for the most part, but what we're now seeing is, again, we have the outflow boundary here, and then behind it, in its wake, that's where we have these new storms that are popping up. So we've got this lightning popping up south of my area, which is what I'm seeing out the window here. And so that outflow is going to have some new storms popping up. So if you're in the Italy area down to Milford, over there near Forest in that area, you're probably going to see some of this. Ennis, you may have some new rain coming in, but I don't expect more severe weather tonight. I think we will probably be able to avoid that at this point. That storm in Tarrant County looks like that is gradually weakening as well. So not a whole lot of it. And Jamie, you're saying Arlington has apartment complexes that are damaged. I'll have to look into those reports when we're done with the live stream tonight, because damage is a pretty broad word. Sometimes people say there's damage and it means that a building was knocked down. Some people will say damage and it means that a tree limb fell. So there's a lot of definitions there. See, no power along Walnut Grove and Heritage High. So yeah, I mean, there's been some power outages tonight just possibly due to the winds, possibly due to some of that lightning and rain, that kind of thing. So there are some power outages, but it doesn't sound like it's too terribly widespread. So what we're seeing now is that with this outflow boundary continuing to the south, there are new showers and thunderstorms that are popping up as a part of that. But at this point, it looks like activity is becoming a little more scattered. So that main storm that prompted that severe thunderstorm warning earlier tonight is not as intense at this point, but we're seeing new developments. So new little showers and thunderstorms in the wake of this outflow boundary that's headed towards Hillsborough, headed right through Rio Vista right now, headed towards Whitney, down towards Milford, and on from there. So it is headed into Hill County here, southern Johnson County, and it's still an open question. How far south will it continue to create new storms? So we will have to kind of watch and wait and see on that. And Jared, thank you so much for your very generous Venmo donation. Greatly, greatly appreciated there. So yeah, hearing more and more thunder from this storm. Plenty of lightning and thunder with these new storms, but they are not severe at this time. A lot more bark than bite. There's going to be some gusty winds, especially with that outflow boundary. There's going to be some heavy rain there. So if you're in a flood-prone area, keep an eye on that. I'm not necessarily looking at any kind of catastrophic flooding or anything like that at this point, but some flood-prone areas may have some minor issues. Let's see, what time roughly would Italy get hit, if any? My grandmother-in-law lives there. So, the Italy area, I would say in the next, 15, 20 minutes, there may be some showers and thunderstorms there. Again, it largely depends on if we get new development behind this outflow boundary, if this continues to move southward. This gets harder to predict when you have an outflow boundary that's kind of doing its own thing. It's hard to call sometimes because, now that we've lost daytime heating, that could be all we see from it. Or it could generate just enough lift to make some new storms happen. So in Ellis County right now, there's going to be just more showers and thunderstorms that pop up with that. But I'm not expecting rather, a whole lot of severe weather. I'm not really expecting another flash flood warning in Ellis County at this point. There's enough kind of inconsistent heavy rain here. I don't think that's going to be warranted. So at this point, I think we're going to be looking at just some garden variety thunderstorms going on. I think it's possible that we could still have some gusty winds. I think it's possible that they'll be loud, but I don't really expect much more severe weather going on with these tonight. So not expecting much, if any, hail at this point. Debbie, you're asking how soon will it be out of Waxahachie? I think Waxahachie is going to have at least some rain maybe for the next hour or so. We'll have to see how much longer this hangs around. With the loss of daytime heating, usually that's going to weaken fairly quickly, but sometimes it doesn't. So we will have to just kind of wait and watch and see what this does and see if any of this activity farther to the north falls apart as we continue to cool down. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up live coverage here. That will allow me to get back to the storm desk and just kind of post periodic updates on all of this. All of our area, I'm not expecting severe weather at this point. There's going to be a few heavier thunderstorms, going to be some lightning, thunder, going to be some noise as we're getting ready to go to bed here across north central Texas, but I'm not expecting anything too intense going forward. But as always, if we do, we will bring that live coverage to you. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned to South Metro Weather. We've got more weather coming, lowered rain chances tomorrow, and then we heat up. as we go into the middle of July.
I don't know what it means, but there's a smile upon your face, and I see something shimmering in your eyes. And they say if you wanna glimpse the future, you need space. And you said you'll put down your morning guns. Would you follow me to wonders? Take my hand and walk beside me in a world of thunder. Fear is an imposter. When you look at me this way, I find it hard to not